This is a story of high fives and misdemeanors. To understand how the Summer Studs and Winter Warriors groups are made, you need to understand four things. First, how the initial leaderboard is made. The initial leaderboard starts with the Summer Studs leaderboard from the previous year. To create the Summer Studs leaderboard, we start with the previous Winter Warriors leaderboard. We add back players that are re-entering, those that didn't play in the winter. We look at the Queen City and the USTA spring match results. We look at the Tennis League Stats website. Then we consider any cash contributions, aka Kid No Pro. That's Union County for you pay me, I move you. We pour all of these into a very scientific, statistically accurate, and indisputable formula to create a witch's brew.
Toe of frog, wool of cat, tongue of dog,
The result of which is the new leaderboard for Summer Studs. Now, Winter Warriors is a lot easier because all we have to do is take out the guys who didn't sign up, usually 20 to 40 guys, add any net new players, and then bam, we've got the Winter Warriors leaderboard to start the winter. Now, generally speaking, these leaderboards start with 4 5s at the top, followed by 4 O's, followed by 3 5s, and then 3 O's. But you do have some anomalies, and generally speaking, when you have a guy that's in a group that's not his USTA level, it's because he earned it. Second, how players move on the leaderboard when they win, lose, or don't play. Now, we're not going to cover leaderboard movement in detail in this video because we've covered that before. But suffice it to say that if you win or win a doubleheader, you're going to move up 3 to 6 spots. If you lose or lose a doubleheader, you're going to move down 3 to 6 spots. But if you don't play, you're at the mercy of the men around you who do play. A man below you could win and jump up over you, or a man above you could lose and drop down below you. Remember, the leaderboard is a zero-sum game. For a man to move up, someone else must move down. It's just the nature of the beast. Number 3, how the weekly registrations are used to create the weekly groups. This, my friends, is where the high fives and misdemeanors allegedly take place. Watch carefully, because incriminating evidence is going to be flying off your computer screen. So the process starts with the data that you guys turn in the weekly registration form. So here's the timestamp of when Kevin Staley, for example, registered. The same holds true for every man that's registered. It tells me if he's available Friday, Saturday for either one of the doubleheaders and the times he's available. It also tells me if a man is registered more than once. That's the drill. If your plans change, and we know they will, just register again. We only use the most recent. For example, Chin Lin had registered and was available for all the time slots and doubleheaders. Then something happened, and Chin is out for the weekend. No problem. We delete his outdated registrations and those for all the other men that registered more than once, and we end up with a clean set of registrations for the entire weekend of December 27th and 28th. So now we move to the actual creation of the groups. Form data is automatically parsed and associated with each man in the order he appears on this week's leaderboard. I first enter the number of courts available, and this week we have a lot of courts available. That's not always the case. And then I check the onlys list. Onlys are very important because they tell me when a man has registered for only one time slot. So before I begin to build the groups, let me cover the commission-posed ground rules. 1. Every man that is available gets a match. 2. Men may only be scheduled for time slots they select. 3. The range between the top man in a group and the bottom man in a group should not exceed 20 unless doing so violates rule number 1. 4. Doubleheaders can only be given to men who register for them. 5. When I have a choice for whom to give a doubleheader to, the man with the fewest total matches gets it. 6. Men who have not registered are considered out. 7. 8-man groups are better than 4-man groups. And 8, considering 1 through 7, try to create groups that are competitive. So now let's create some groups. We start by looking at the men that can only play Friday. It's not only listed up here, but it's also listed in this column. Harry can only play at 10 a.m., as can Scott Waldrop, Mike Hall. Bob Duffy's at noon only. The first Friday only is Larry Picone, so I've got to get a match for Larry. So I'll probably start there. Michael Rousseau is another man that can only play Friday. Can I get those guys together in the same group? Maybe. 47 to 64. Yeah, it could work. So probably I'll do that. Who's the third guy that can only play Friday? It's Bruce Gibson. Let me get a group for those guys and start with Bruce because we've got a pretty tight group right here. I'll call this group 2, but I can always change it. Frank Grindle is available on Friday and also Saturday. I'll deal with that when I get to it. Let's grab Joe Dyshak and Mark Bombardier. I've got a group of 4 men here. I look at the top and it tells me that group 2 is 4 men. This is the check for me. That takes care of one of the Friday onlys. I jump up here to Michael Rousseau. Let's go ahead and put Michael in group 1, Steve Lovelace in group 1. Let's put Larry in group 1 and Doug Goldstein in group 1. That takes care of Friday and my Friday onlys. I didn't violate any of the rules, 64 to 46. There are no other choices. Men in yellow didn't register, so they're considered out. So let me go back to the top and look at Michael Terry. So Michael Terry can play Friday, but he can also play Saturday at 10 o'clock. I'll try to get him a Friday match. If I'm gonna have a tough time though because there's only Steve Egan and Martin Isles. The next man is Pat Burgess at 24, so I'm violating the 20-man range, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but I have a better option. If I go to Saturday at 10, I can get 4 men with a range of only 17. So I'm going to make that group here. I'm going to guess, and let's just say it's group 4. So I have a 4-man group. Let's go back and see if I can get another Friday match. Steve Egan is a possible. I can get him a Friday match. I've already created group 1, so I'm going to create a new group 1. Martin Isles can do Friday, Saturday doubleheader. Burgess can do a Friday, Saturday doubleheader, as can Sperry. So I've created a new group 1, which now has 8 men, but I'll fix that. Let's see if I can get another Friday. Now, I'm going to blow up a group here. I can put Knowles in on Friday, but if I do that, I'm going to break up my old group 1. But I can probably still get it if I do Michael on group 3, Bombardier on group 3, Dyshak on group 3, Gibson on group 3, and put Frank in group 4. Can I get another match here? I can't because everybody that said they can play Friday up and above is in except for Michael Terry and the range issue we talked about. So I'm going to delete these men in group 4 on Friday, come back and get those guys on Saturday. I've satisfied all of the only Fridays. All right, so let's start working on Saturday at 10. I already have a group 4, so let's start with group 5. Pat said he can do Friday, Saturday doubleheader. Let's give it to him. And check also says doubleheader is possible, so yes, it is. Scott Waldrop can only play at 10, so let's get him in there. So now I have 4 in group 4. So I have 4 in group 5, but can I blow it out to 8? Yeah, pretty easy. I now have an 8-man group with group 5 and a range of 13 top to bottom. That's pretty good. We're all good and only consuming 3 of our 8 courts. Let's start working on group 6. Joe Guy can only play at 10 o'clock. I've got to get him in. Matt Swope can do 10 or 12. So let's look ahead a bit. Who are the men that can only play at 12? Bob Duffy is at 12 o'clock only, so I've got to get him in. Let me start with, we'll just call it group 14. I may have to come back and change that later. So who can I get in with Bob? The next 12 o'clock only is way down here. So let's go back up. Who can I put with Bob and make it work? I can put Knowles in. I can pull Bowman over in that group. I'll have to take him out of group 5 and move Joe Guy up. I've got a decent 4-man group at noon. Can I get it to 8? Not likely, so it's going to stay at 4.
Great Scott.
So let's pick up the group 6. Holman, followed by Mario, followed by Goldstein, followed by Arcidio Cano. That's a 4-man group with a range 39 to 50, so that's 11. I can move these guys out to noon, but typically men like to play earlier. I could also go with an 8-man group. Nah, it's not going to work. Let's start with group 7, Clay Kent. I can get an 8-man group. I can put a doubleheader on Lovelace. I can grow it to 8, 54 to 75. So I violate the rule by 1. So let's just start with group 8. Joe Dyshak can do a doubleheader. Frank Grindle. Mark Bombardier cannot do a doubleheader, so I violated that rule. So I need to fix that. Now group 8 has 4, and we used up 6 of our 8 courts. Let me start with Graham in group 9. Trantham, Jamie Wolf, Jerry Stallings. There's a 4-man group in group 9. Andrew Lawler and Eloy Warner. Oh, Eloy can only play at 10, so I have to put Eloy in group 9. Take Jamie out of group 9 and put him in group 15 out of 12 o'clock. Andrew Lawler can be in group 15, so now group 9 square is square group 15. Who am I going to get to put in group 15? Oh, Tim Whalen. It's obvious. 12 o'clock only. So I'll need one more man for group 15. So that's not looking good. Move Dwayne into Group 15, take him out of Group 9, so now Group 9's broken. Move Frank to Group 9, now Group 8's broken, keep going up. How can we fix Group 8? Dave Cordier can do a Saturday doubleheader, so he's a possibility. Now, I don't know, how can I solve this? I'm one man short. Here's the fix. I skipped over Kevin Miller. So Kevin will become the first man in Group 5. Group 5 now has 9 men, so the last man in Group 5 goes into Group 6. That's Joe Guy. Now Group 6 is broken. Last man in Group 6 goes into Group 7. Okay, now we're square. I have 8 courts at 10 o'clock and 10 at 12 o'clock. We don't need all of those. So can I get any more doubleheaders? So Mario can do a doubleheader. Can I get one by looking up? No, there's nothing up there. Let's look at bad range. The range is too great, so I can't get a doubleheader now. Shoo! That was easy. So no more doubleheaders. Everybody's got a match. I haven't violated any of the rules, maybe one by just a couple. We're all done. What a relief. So now that I'm done, and before I publish the groups, I need to come back and check one more time to make sure no new reservations have come in. What? Oh, it looks like 3 new reservations have come in. Rick Henson, Rick Moore, and Joe Guy. Let me process these.
You cannot be serious!
So Rick Henson's at 10 o'clock only, so he goes into Group 4. Rick Moore, he's right in the middle of Group 7, so he goes into Group 7. Now Groups 4 and Group 7 are broken with 5 men each. So I need to take Joe Guy out, so now Group 6 only has 3. One way we can fix this to put Matt Swope on a doubleheader. Matt can do a Saturday doubleheader. Now if I take away doubleheader for Lovelace, since he has 7 matches already. Now looking out to Group 15, that's already a pretty decent spread. I can't really get that out to 8. So I just need to renumber the groups at 12 o'clock. And there it is. After much ado, that is High Fives and Misdemeanors. Everyone's in. I only violated the rule by 2 spots. And shoo!
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Then the group's email goes out, and you can hear the murmuring wafting across the hills and valleys. So that brings us to the 4th and final alleged crime. How the letter is used to create the actual matches from the groups. Now, back in the day, each man picked a playing card when he arrived, and the card corresponded to positions on the matches sheet. This took a lot of time, and wind would play havoc with the cards. So we invented the letter approach. 1 letter to define all the matches based on predefined pairings. We used to ask an innocent bystander, like Grandma, to give us a letter. Hey, Grandma, give me a letter between A and G. Ow. So this year I started a more democratic approach, a poll, where each man can vote for the letter that drives the pairings. No electoral college, just straight popular vote. Polls close at 3 p.m. on Fridays with 100% of precincts reporting. So then I plug in a letter corresponding to the vote, and all of the matches for the week are created from the groups. So if it's an A, these are the pairings for a 4-man and 8-man group. If it's a G, then these are the pairings.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Now, as Clay Kent so aptly recognized, in an 8-man group, there's no selection where 2 and 3 or 2 and 4 are paired. So over the next few weeks, we will pass the Kent Act, expanding the selections for 8-man groups. So there you have it, High Fives and Misdemeanors. Now, everybody understands, everybody should be happy with their partner, and we should have no more controversy.